Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans! Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and I am in the middle of International Wrestling Month. And, well, it used to be UK, but now it's international because a lot of people got a lot of hate mail, a lot of main messages, but hater gonna hate, player's gonna play, Panther's gonna pounce, baby. But I'm gonna keep on rolling, like Fred Durst would say. I have a gentleman that come to the United States. I got the message from his friends, this big long message from backstage. He made me with the half mask. He made me ask him to come on the podcast, and I had no problems because I ain't got I don't want no problems. No problems. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to everybody's favorite, Precious. Welcome to Dudes At Ringside, Precious. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoy any conversation that I get to have in pro wrestling. I actually started right before I got into pro wrestling, right before I made my debut. I was on a podcast. I was on Tornado Tag podcast with someone you mentioned before we started recording, Anthony Blackwell Jr. So any chance that I get to speak about wrestling, get to talk about the thing that I am most passionate about, it's always a good time.
I love Mr. Blackwell. Shout out to Anthony Blackwell. Everybody, look him up, subscribe to him. Brother to brother, always gotta give him a shout out, give everybody a shout out, because Tornado Tag, they've been on Dudes Ringside back in the day with me and my former co-host. You.
Hey, you said it well. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play.
And Panther's gonna pounce. so many things, so many times. But if my fans from like the UK countries and some parts of the west coast of the United States have not, well, that technically goes into the west coast. I don't know, but in Canada over there, the big woo. But if they're not familiar with you, Precious, and why would they not be? Introduce yourself.
So this is Precious. Precious has been wrestling for the last 3 years. I made my debut into this beautiful world on May 22nd, 2022. I started my career at the Sanctuary, which is in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. And since then, I have been skipping my large frame across PA, across New York, across New Jersey. I've trained in California. I've been down south, and I'm ready to get some more. And if you're not familiar with what I bring to the squared circle, as I said, I come skipping down with a big old smile on my face. As I said, this is the thing I am most passionate about. I like to do a little twirl. I like to do a little dance. I like to have fun. And that's what I really like to put across within my wrestling. If I'm going to take your nose, I might take your nose. If I'm going to tell you to look, hey, Joe, what's that behind you? Joe, do you see it? I made him look. I
thought you were talking about my championship belt that's behind me, Goldie.
Oh, you have gold?
Oh yes, I have the International Wrestling Championship.
Oh, look how beautiful! Look how well polished that is as well.
Isn't she beautiful? That's Goldie that made by Ruda Entertainment. Ruda made this belt.
Oh, I know Ruda. Do you mind if I showcase some of my gold?
Yes,
not just this jacket, but also directly behind me, I am the reigning and defending Sanctuary Heavyweight Champion.
Ooh.
This shines very nicely off of the light that I have in front of me. I have held this since November. I'm still waiting for challengers to come my way. But when I'm in the ring, I do like to have a lot of fun. I also, as I've said, I am a big boy. So I know how to use all parts of my body. I like to throw this right arm. I have a background in baseball. If you ever see me wrestling, I don't wear boots, at least not yet. So I have shoes, and underneath those shoes and underneath my pants, I wear stirrups. I'm a
Ooh,
really big baseball fan. One of the biggest matches that I've had in my career so far, the night that I won the Sanctuary Championship for the first time against Supremely Great, I made my entrance in a Pete Rose jersey. Uh, he's the hit king. I had to bring the hits for that fight.
why not?
So I really do like to throw this right arm. Outside of wrestling, I am a baseball coach. I coach
Ooh,
Babe Ruth League baseball, which is ages 12 to 16, and I was a pitcher in that league. So that's why I like throwing this right hand.
ooh, awesome. So, when it comes to like your training, like who trained you?
So it starts from the tutelage of two very important people who have not only trained me in professional wrestling, but have taught me so much as a young man. And I am eternally grateful that my journey in life ultimately intersected with them. So it starts with John Trotsky, who was the head trainer for the Wild Samoans. Also helped train Mickey Rourke for the movie The Wrestler. He's SAG-AFTRA stuntman as well. He's a professor. He's a high school teacher. Very grateful for John Trotsky. He's another reason why I like to throw a clothesline. He throws the clothesline from Crestwood, so that's an homage to him. And then when it comes to the other parts of the wrestling that I really enjoy, what I like to do in ring and stuff that I was brought up and watched from a really early age. My other trainer is Bad Billy Walker, Cowboy. Cowboy has stretched me more times than I could count on both of these hands, times 10. Uh, Cowboy has taught me so much. He was trained by Johnny Rods. He trained at Gleason's gym. So he was around boxers. So he explained to me very early in our training sessions that, hey, we're wrestlers. The boxers have respect for what we do and vice versa. So what you do in this ring, in the center of the ring, is precious. You don't necessarily need to go to the ropes. You don't need to be flying. If you could stretch somebody, if you could twist somebody, that pain, that will resonate with an audience. That will resonate with someone who's never seen pro wrestling before. So
Mm,
those two, Billy Walker and John Trotsky, are top two. Fantastic trainers. The person then who had a lot of hands-on work with me very early into my career was J.S. Hawthorne. He's someone that the first time we meshed very well together. Like our personalities were vibing pretty consistently, and he's a very good teacher. All three of those men are very good teachers. The way that they instruct, explain, and demonstrate, I'm very grateful for. So without those three gentlemen, I would not be the wrestler that I am today.
wow. Um, when it comes to like your beginnings, because we mentioned before, if you want to talk about it, like some of the reasons why you got into this business.
Certainly, that's a thank you for that question. We were talking about that. My father was born in 1970. He grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, because of that, he went to all of the ECW shows from 1994 to 1996. He was there the night that Shane Douglas declared he threw down the NWA Championship. He was also right next to Francine when Francine debuted in ECW. She was in the crowd. They were having a conversation. Next thing you know, she jumps the barricade and is in the ring. So outside of that, he also went to all the Spectrum shows. So he got to see like Tully and Arn. He got to see Dusty Rhodes. He got to see Terry Funk. He got to see Ric Flair. He got to see all of these legends on a regular basis, and I'm a little bit jealous of that. But then as young as I could remember, I've been watching wrestling because of that. He introduced me to, obviously, WWE was the first thing I was introduced to, but he also had so many tapes and so many magazines. So I got to read a lot about older wrestling. I got to see like the rankings all the way back in like the 2000s and the 90s. But he also introduced me to territory wrestling and the old WWF and the WWF MSG shows, the Spectrum shows, and introduced me to territory wrestling. So the most common territory wrestling I remembered was World Class Championship Wrestling. He introduced me to the Freebirds and the Von Erichs very early, and I really liked that. I also really liked Dusty Rhodes. He was a big boy, And I was always a bigger, like, I wasn't really the healthiest kid. I wasn't the most athletic kid. So I was able to see Dusty Rhodes and look at him and see, oh, he's got a big old belly. I got a big old belly. I like this guy. So from a really early age, I've been exposed to so much wrestling. And that's kind of why the character Precious ultimately came to be. I think it is not only precious that I am in professional wrestling, the thing that I am most passionate about, but life itself is also precious. I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my throat, so I'm very grateful for every day that I have on earth. And I think that's like kind of the main message with my wrestling is that we only get one opportunity at life. So make the most of it. If there's that thing that you've always been afraid to do, if you're Joe Panther the third and you've never taken a bump in a wrestling ring, make that happen. We don't have tomorrow's not guaranteed, so live in the present.
Yeah.
Moments are precious, and precious is the moment. So make it.
So let's go a little further in, Mr. Precious. When you finally made your first debut match, did you have this whole idea of Precious, or was there something else like before the clouds moved and it was Precious? Like, was there anything else? Did you have the whole persona, the gear, or did you have something else in mind first before poof, the whole jackets and everything?
That's a great question. So I remember. Okay, let's get into it. I had spent 3 years at Temple University. My third year there was the year that the pandemic happened. That caused a lot of issues. Like I spent a lot of time in isolation, wasn't doing super well in school. Um, I ended up transferring from Temple University to Penn State's Schuylkill campus. I ended up moving back home, and I was going through like really early, right before my first week at Penn State Schuylkill, some like really not cool stuff happened. And then I ended up fracturing my foot, and I was spending so much time like really not knowing what to do with my life. And prior to wrestling, I was in a band for a couple years. There have been a couple appearances recently in professional wrestling where I've donned a bacon costume, and I donned that bacon costume while I was in that band. So, side note, I remember having a conversation with my buddy, and he's like, "Look, I know you're super into wrestling. If you're ever serious about it, let me know." One of my buddies, MIT, Mr. Intellectual Tavius, was in the business. He was a wrestler at the sanctuary, so I had my in there. So I had made that call, and I knew I had this idea, and I knew that I wanted to wrestle. So then, when it gets to the character specifically, I remember spending a lot of nights watching a lot of old WWF programming. I the degree that I was pursuing at Temple University was branding. It was an advertising degree with a focus in brand strategy. So English classes, literature classes, creative writing, that's always been my preference for education. That's always something I've been really good at. So I remember seeing Paul Ellering giving a promo, and I'm like, okay, Precious as a name is a really good brand. It's a definable brand. You know, when you hear Precious, it gives you some sparkle. You could kind of tell that there's some sparkle to it there. So the original character that I had in mind was actually Precious Ruby Reno. And if you're
Hmm.
friends with me on Facebook, that's what my name is. Ruby, I was born July 20th, so I recently last month I celebrated a birthday. So Ruby is my birthstone. Reno is my mom's last name. And I'm very grateful for my mom's side of the family, as I am grateful for my father. As I said, he's the one who got me into wrestling. But my mom's got a really big family. That's the area that I grew up in. So I'm exposed to my mom's side of the family. So that was an homage to her. And the name Ruby isn't necessarily the most masculine, dominant name. There's a connotation there immediately. And I knew what I was doing with that. I know that I'm not necessarily the most typical masculine figure. I'm still a man. I'm still very confident in my manliness. I'm confident in my sexuality as well as a straight man. But I know I'm a little bit of a fairy. I know I'm not necessarily I don't have the most rugged appearance. I've got a very clean baby face. I'll probably get carded for the next 15 years of my life. So initially it was Precious Ruby Reno, but that being said, I also had a really different flavor of ice cream planned. I've always been a huge fan of Texas Hold'em. I
Mm,
have poker kits upon poker kits upon poker kits on the Game Show Network from like 10 p.m. to like 1 in the morning when I was a wee precious. They would show Texas Hold'em on the Game Show Network, and it was hosted by Norm Macdonald. So my family, like any family party we would have, we would always play cards. I was beating like my uncles and my cousins. So initially, I wanted to be more of a gambler as my character. I wanted to have a ring bearer. There was going to be a precious ring. Um, so it was more this like snobby character, a little bit
yeah.
more holier than thou. And I really wanted to incorporate a manager, like a ring bearer, because of the wrestling that I had been exposed to. I had seen the importance of a manager. I had seen so many wrestlers with a manager. That's what I wanted to portray. But then my first day at the sanctuary, when I'm filling out my information, it says at the bottom, what do you want your ring name? Or if you have a ring name. So I wrote Precious Ruby Reno. And John Trotsky read it and he laughed. He's like, I like this, but let's just go with Precious. Just Precious. And as soon as he said it, I saw, okay, that makes sense. Like, Asuka is just Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow. Asuka in Japanese means future. That as a brand is one word and it's super definable. That's an awesome brand. So, Precious by itself, to me, after hearing that, made sense as the better brand.
Mm, awesome. Um, do you like the day of it, like the week of a show? Do you have a different style of like prepping for that show or that match? Or do you just check it out like whatever you see on the wrestler? Or do you go on like now that everybody goes on the social medias to like binge on seeing how the person moves? Or do you like try to break them down by talking to them?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. There's a couple different things. Social media is a blessing. I just wrestled. I've wrestled him before. Werewolf Creed. He's a
Mm,
scary figure, ominous presence. I've wrestled him before, but then I also looked at his Instagram and I saw his greatest hits. I saw the moves that he consistently did. So when it came time to put that together, I knew what we were going to get into. I knew that he does a Thez press, and I also do a Thez press. And I was like, okay, cool. We could tell a story here. If you go for it, I could counter it. If I go for it, yada, yada, yada. So there is a lot of like direct research on the person. If I have the time and if I have that accessible. Like if I know what I'm getting into, I'll do that. If I don't, which there are times where I don't know what I'm getting into, especially the first year and a half of my career, often would find out as soon as I got to the venue, sometimes an hour before. And I'd be like, all right, here we go. Uh, Part of my background, my degree is in corporate communication. So a lot of what I learned was qualitative research. So that's another reason why I'm very appreciative to be on a podcast because you're interviewing me, and that's a lot of what I learned, and I'm just very grateful for that. Uh, I will break. I'll break them down. I'll try to figure out the person before I figure out the character because then I could get into the real of that person. I started teaming with Austin Kingsley the fifth at PPW over the last couple months, and I asked him a couple questions, and the first thing he said was like, "Oh, do you want the like shoot answer or the character answer?" I was like, "No, dude, I want to know you because if I know you, we could translate that to a much more genuine persona in ring." So I do like just breaking people down. That's still happening to me. I wrestled a tag team match with JS Hawthorne against Andy Header and Devious Cass. Devious Cass is 18. He's been wrestling for 6 years. He's so good already at the wrestling aspect of things, but I wanted to get to know the young man that I was about to step into the ring with. That also allows me to, I'm not going to like turn off the switch of someone that I'm going to make sure that I protect their body. Like if you give me a wrong answer, I'm not going to drop you on your neck. That's something I will never do. But it's cool to know these people, even if that's like getting to know someone a little like too intimate when we're just sharing like a maybe like 15 minutes max together. I don't care. I care about these people because we're all doing something. We're all under the same roof. So we have similar stories. We have similar passions. I want to get to know you. But then the physical aspect of my preparation, yoga. I didn't get into yoga until about 6 months into my wrestling. One of my buddies was like, "Hey, there's a YouTube channel, Yoga with Adrian. It's an entire database of yoga. It's like beginner, intermediate, difficult, specific poses, timed yoga practices. Like if you only have a certain amount of time, there's meditations. That is a like a non-negotiable for me on show day. I need to do yoga. For a little bit, it was the mix of heavy bag work and then also yoga. So I had both extremes. I would have very intense, like high intensity interval cardio and as much anger and energy that I could get out. And then there's the yoga. So it's the balance there. So it's a couple different things. It is the mental, it is the emotional, but it is also the physical preparation.
Awesome. So when you're going to the show, like, what do you have in the car? Do you have like snacks, or like is there anything like you pack like a lunch? Like 'cause some wrestlers don't eat the day of a show. Do you have like a sandwich packed in a lunchbox or anything like that? Like the drinks?
It's typically always water, but you would be shocked to find Precious without some apple juice.
Okay.
Apple juice has always been a preferred beverage of Precious. So if you
Mhm.
ever see Precious at a show and I also sweat ridiculously. I don't know if it's my metabolism. I don't know what the
I think I
science
saw
behind
you
it is.
sweaty at the show.
I like sweat. I'm a big sweater. Uh Big E, when he's on Up Up Down Down, he was referred to as Big Wool because he's a heavy sweater. Felt that. I'm a big sweater too. Water's a must. Uh, I don't really have a go-to snack or a go-to food. Eggs always in the morning. I don't care what day of the week it is. I'm having eggs. Water's a must. I need to stay hydrated because I sweat a whole lot. But I wrestle pretty consistently at PPW, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, and the Slatington Expo Center has a lot of really good food vendors.
Oh,
So
we can go. We can make a whole episode just what's there. Like,
do you have
I
a
don't know if
favorite?
APJ has done it yet, but like the Greek food. Oh, I
That's what
can't.
I
I
had
would
the
have to
first
go
time.
use my whole freaking to try everything. Okay, make this. Like the Greek salad was a little too much. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm
Okay.
sorry if you're watching this. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but it was a lot. Even with the lamb. Oh my god. Like
Yeah, I'm a big Euro, gyro, whatever you want to call it. I love that.
yo.
I got exposed to that at Temple's campus because they have food trucks all over the campus. So my freshman year, I had a buddy who I ended up living with afterwards. He was like, "Have you ever had any of these trucks?" I was like, "No." He was like, "You're making mistakes. You're wasting money." So I tried lamb over rice, and I've been hooked on lamb over rice, white sauce, tzatziki sauce, and hot
Oh,
sauce on it. So I had just wrestled at Voodoo Brewing for Smash Master Wrestling, and
love them.
I didn't know this at the time. There's a halal place right next door.
What?
So Philly, yeah, yeah,
Wait,
it's like
if I'm
you
ever there, you're grabbing me and Papa Panther, and we're going because my dad
guaranteed,
loves halal.
guaranteed. It was really good too. Philly Mike Swanson and Riley Crow. They're like, "Hey, there's a halal place. Do you want to get food?" I said, "Yeah, 100%."
You're gonna grab me and my dad if we haven't eaten already. We're going there because I'm like, got it. Like we love halal. We love
Now,
halal food.
I think I would have to specify next time it was only the tzatziki sauce. So I
Uh,
would have to specify, hey, throw some hot sauce on there too.
yeah. I love halal sauce. My dad can't have hot sauce, but I can handle the hot sauce, like Spanish, like Puerto Rican. Um, so are you watching anything on Netflix right now? Any series or Peacock related, wrestling related, anything like old school, new school that you want to talk about today?
Today, because I saw a lot of tweets about it, I watched the first episode of WWE Unreal. I was like,
Mm.
oh, this is interesting to see how far the business has come, to see right now where WWE is at and the way they are trying to take over all stream, all like channels. They're doing a really good job and it's becoming global, it's becoming way more, it's popular again. And the fact that wrestling is popular and now it's starting to get respected as a credible source. When I was in college, I would do projects on professional wrestling and there weren't a whole lot of academic sources. So I
Yeah.
would have to tell my professors, I'm like, I know you need 3 sources, APA site style. I can't do that because there aren't 3 sources for me to take from. But I'm really not that much of a TV or a movie guy. I've always watched sports. At the same time that I fell in love with pro wrestling, I fell in love with hockey. I'm a huge Flyers fan. So I have really early memories of Peter Forsberg and Simone Gagne, and that's why in one of my matches I make my entrance with hockey gloves against a team member of Down to Fight. So then I drop the gloves and we start throwing hands.
Mm, that's cool. Um, before we go, if my fans want to follow you on social media, Precious, where can they find you?
So recently had to change the Instagram because the old one got hacked. So verify your accounts to make sure you have your accounts. I'm on Instagram as Precious24, the number .7. I gotta confirm my TikTok because I had everything as the same username and then I got hacked.
I don't know how everybody keeps getting hacked. I keep getting I'm jinxing myself now. And then it'll happen.
So
So
then, so then on TikTok it is at Precious RR underscore.
okay. R underscore.
And then
If you have any
I'm on
upcoming, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
I was gonna
Dude,
say that I'm on Twitter as the same handle. It's at Precious RR underscore. The only one that's different is the Instagram, which is Precious24.7.
okay. Um, if you have any upcoming shows within the August timeline that you know of right now, if anybody wants to buy any tickets for any shows and want to go see Precious live.
August 9th, you can see me at 2 different places. I will be at PPW, and then I will also be at Three Legacies Wrestling. And then I don't know. I don't believe I have anything at the end of August at the moment. And then in September, it would be September 13th, the second Saturday in September. Come see PPW. That's their anniversary show. That will be the golden ticket event. That one is, I have all of my energy pumping to that. I have taken a little bit time away from doing all of the shows possible because I don't have wheels at the moment. That's something I need to
No.
fix. So I do not have a city transportation.
Oh
So
no.
come see me. Come see me. Follow me. I do like to talk to people. So if you engage with my stuff, I will engage back.
My luck will be bumping into each other at a show, and you're gonna be like, "So Joe, when am I coming back on?" I don't know, and then I go, "Look, a bunny," and then I'll run the other direction because I'm like odd. He probably met me in person. I call myself odd, but it's not odd. It's just me being the way I am. I seem very hey, but then I'm just like, oh yeah, we're at a show, and I blacked out for 5 seconds because I just smelled Greek food. So I'm like, hi, what
So
happened?
is that pinging from one thing to the next, or is that extrovert meets introvert and they
Yeah, I'm
unfold?
hyperactive, so it's also thinking about what am I gonna say so I don't jabber on for 5 minutes.
Oh, I feel that. Even like listening to myself while answering a question, I'm like, I feel like I just gave a thesis on the question that I was just asked.
It's okay. But Precious, I want to thank you so much for helping me do this thing and introduce yourself to my international fans and be part of International Wrestling Month here in August on the Dudes at Ringside. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube under Ghost Head Nerd Talk Variety Show and give Precious follows. Follow me on Instagram under Joe Panther III and Dudes at Ring. Just type in Dudes at Ringside Podcast. Don't give yourself an aneurysm typing in underscore. Thank you very much. I'm Joe Panther III. Oops, sorry, go on.
Shout out, since it's international, shout out Joe Blazer. Joe Blazer is a buddy that I have across the pond, and I would love to see him sometime soon.
Oh, Joe Blazer. Cool. So I am Joe Panther III.
This is Precious.
And we will catch you in the next one.